Alright, so good day everyone. In this lecture, I'll be giving you guys hints on how to solve questions under limiting calculus, and I'll be solving 4 questions to explain all these hints. Now, the first question I'm going to solve is the limit of 3x squared plus 4x minus 1, where x tends to 2. Okay, so all we have to do here is we just substitute the value of 2 and then we get our final answer. So that will be 3 into brackets 2 squared plus 4 into bracket 2 minus 1. 3 squared is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. That will be 12 plus 8 minus 1. Then 12 plus 8 is 20. Minus 1 is 19. So 19. So that's how we go about that question. Now the second question is the limit of x plus 2 divided by x squared plus 3x plus 2. And then x tends to minus 2. How do we go about this question? Now the logic is when you substitute the value of minus 2 into this function, we are going to get 0 over 0. So anytime we have the result of a limiting function to be 0 over 0, or infinity over infinity, or infinity times 0, we make use of a particular rule, and that rule is called L'Hopital rule. Now what L'Hopital rule is just telling us is that when we have that kind of condition in limiting calculus, we differentiate the numerator and denominator separately, and then we now substitute the value of x. Okay, now when we differentiate separately, that is when we do the first derivative of the function, and then we substitute the value of x, and we are still getting 0 over 0 or infinity over infinity. We differentiate again, we find the second derivative, and that is how we continue differentiating until the function is not equal to 0 over 0. So let's go about this. So how do we go about this? We differentiate this separately. When we differentiate x, we have 1, and when we differentiate 2, we have 0, divided by, we differentiate this also separately. When we differentiate x squared, we get 2x, and when we differentiate 3x, we get 3. When we differentiate 2, we get 0. Now we now substitute the value of x. So that will be 1 divided by 2 into bracket minus 2 plus 3. And that will give us 1 over, this is minus 4 plus 3. Minus 4 plus 3 is minus 1. That will be 1 over minus 1. So the answer here is minus 1. And that's how we go about that. Now let's move to the next question. Now the next question says the limit of x squared plus 5x plus 6 over x plus 3, and s tends to minus 3. So the logic on that limit is that your denominator must not be equal to 0, because when your denominator is equal to 0, you are going to have undivided or infinity. So if you substitute the value of minus 3 for the denominator, is going to be 0. So we have to find a way to solve the question so that our function, okay, will not tend to infinity, or our denominator will not be equal to 0. So what do we do here? All we have to do is we have to factorize the denominator. And how do we go about that? We find two factors in which when we multiply, we must get 6, and when we add, we must get 5. And these are 2 and 3. So when we do that, we get x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6 divided by x plus 3. Then we say x into bracket x plus 2, 3 into bracket x plus 2 divided by x plus 3. Then we can say x plus 3, x plus 2 divided by x plus 3. Then we can now see now that x plus 3 is going to equate x plus 3. So what do we have left? X plus 2. And now we can now substitute the value of x now. And when we substitute the value of x, that will be what? Minus 3 plus 2. And that will give us minus 1. And that is how we go about the question. So let's move to the last question, which is the fourth question. Now for the fourth question, you can see that x tends to infinity. Anytime x tends to infinity in a limiting function, all we have to do is that we have to divide the numerator and denominator by the highest power of x. So the highest power of x here is s cubed. So I'll divide each variable by the highest power of x. So if I do that, I'm going to have 2x cubed over x cubed plus 2x over x cubed plus 4 over x cubed, all divided by x cubed over x cubed plus 6 over x cubed. And that will give us 2 plus 2 divided by x squared plus 4 divided by x cubed divided by 1 plus 6 over x cubed. Now, if I substitute infinity into this equation, all these variables with x, they will be equals to 0. So if I put infinity here squared, infinity here cube, infinity here cube, all these guys, they will be equals to 0. And if this is 0 and this is 0, this is 0, it simply means I'll be left with 2 plus 0 plus 0, which is 2. And here I'll be left with 1 plus 0, which is 1. So meaning my final answer here will be equals to 2. So that is basically how we go about that when x tends to infinity. So these are the hints that we have in solving questions under limiting calculus. So I see you guys in my next lecture. Thank you very much.